everyone, so we're going to be going over our trade breakdown for the week, our weekly analysis, going to share with you. So this trade, I'm in GBP USD since last week. If you follow my Instagram, you'll see. Um, Basically, the analysis on this is super simple, right? We were bullish for a very, very long time on the weekly, making higher highs and higher lows. Then we shifted bearish. We almost went bullish again, but then we shifted back to going bearish. There's a few confluences in place, right? Like what I can see is in terms of the range, I also look at ranges a lot, but this range right here, this is one confluence. I can see that we're in the premium zone, right? But on the other hand, if we look at this range right here, we can see we're not even near the discount zone, like the equilibrium, the 50%. So there's still a lot of room, I believe, for this to pull back. And the other confluence are just a really strong daily resistance level. I can see that the daily is shifted from being bullish to bearish, right? So it was kind of pretty bullish here. Then it shifted to being bearish. I really like this kind of where it made a bullish engulfing. And then I just scaled down to the 4 hour and I basically took it off of this level right here. I saw it break and I took it off of this engulfing. And then from there, we kind of went up a bit. I put my stop just above the zone and we've started heading down ever since. Now, I actually held this trade over the weekend. And the reason for holding this trade is I saw it close below this zone. Because I saw body close, and again, it's really important the body closing below this zone, I'm pretty confident this is going to keep continuing downwards. Now, if it would have body closed and let's say this candle would have made like a wick into this area, would have closed up to there, I wouldn't have taken that trade. I wouldn't have held it over the weekend, sorry. So anyways, everything is looking good. The 4 hour shifted a bit bullish, but I believe it's just a stronger pullback into this zone. It's starting to shift bearish again up here. We could view this as, I guess, some kind of support or resistance zone, right? This area right here. So I think it's going to continue downwards. It's playing around a lot because we have news coming out. We have unemployment rate for the GPP, and we have the Fed speaking also on the same day, which is pretty crazy. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I'm targeting these areas for around 3.5. I might even target just a 1 to 3. I've actually taken this trade on my small account, my $100 personal account. So you can see the balance, right? See, it's in about $20 of profit, and it's a small $100 account. So I'm looking to flip this 2x and then 4x it pretty quickly. And I think, to be honest, like with the news coming out tomorrow, we're going to have to see, but I think we could even surpass these areas and just blow past them and get even like a larger risk to reward, which would be nice. But that's my target for now. That's my plan with GBP USD. Now, AUD USD is an interesting one. We tried catching a few buys up here a few times and did not work out. Perfect trades, perfect execution, but just didn't want to go with the flow. What I can see for this pair, there's a few different options, right? Like I can see that overall the pair is very bearish. Like just looking at the big time frame, the big picture, right, it's very bearish. Now, we're being bullish for a while and we're pulling back into this area. And if we take a look at it, we're at the premium zone already. We can see on the daily we've shifted. So we were bearish for a long time. Now we were bullish, sorry, now we're bearish. So again, looking just the higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. Now I can see that we've officially shifted bearish. So we're tapping this area right here, which is a strong zone, kind of like a daily zone. We can also see it's a 4 hour zone of support and resistance, resistance, support. So super kind of interesting. What I'd like to see from this, we already made a shift of structure. So if I would have been in this beforehand, I probably would have taken this, but I think it's going to retest a bit deeper. And then I need to see some kind of shift of structure break. And I'm going to be retesting this all the way down to, again, at least this area, probably even targeting down here. So, you know, this could be a potential, something like that, potential 1 to 3, or even if you wanted to really swing this out, a 1 to 7. So that's the next pair up, Euro AUD. Let's take a look at this. So I called this actually perfectly. I had this zone marked out before. It shot up with the news when Trump was tweeting. And yeah, I can see it's playing around a lot. It has a bunch of different zones. I don't love this pair so much. I don't think I would trade this. So this is going to the bottom of my list. AUDCHF. Let's see here. Same kind of thing. It's playing a lot around these zones. It shifted bearish. I mean, I might want to take the reaction off of like, the only way I would take this trade is we'd have to get a shift, break below, and then I would be targeting from here, from this, level down to here. So that's the only way I'd be taking this trade. I wouldn't be taking a shift up here. It's just too risky. But overall, the pair is very, very, very bearish. We can see the huge, sells going on. We can see weekly aligns with being bearish now. Daily aligns with being bearish. 4 hour aligns with being bearish. We just would need like the 1 hour or something to switch. So that's a potential pair. This already happened, this move, so I called this a while ago. I had this marked up on my chart, but basically same thing. It's Euro USD, like GBP USD, daily area of, resistance. Overall, the weekly is bullish here, so I wouldn't take this as much. We started shifting bearish, but this already kind of had the move. How I would have taken this is, this one's actually a bit tricky. I don't know if I actually would have even taken this trade, but assuming I did, it came back into here, shift. We didn't really have a clean shift in here. I probably would have ended up taking that, engulfing with my stop just above. Bit of breathing room. Targeting down there. But the risk to reward here is amazing. Like it's about, 1 to 2, which this will probably hit, but that's why I entered GBP USD instead. Euro AUD, so we went over that. A few trades from last week, if we just quickly scroll through them. This was a beautiful trade I caught on my Instagram if you're following me. So I took the opposite NZD USD. I saw, again, same thing here, bullish, bearish engulfing, daily, retest zone, all times frame in sync. I waited, very important, for the retest of this zone because it was playing around a lot in here. I waited for the retest, engulfing, and I entered it below here. I could have even held this a bit longer. So again, that's kind of like the trade updates. Bitcoin, something really interesting that just happened in the market that everyone's talking about, the huge crash of Bitcoin, and they're all talking about this daily candle, right, these few days here. I actually don't think it's that much of a big deal in terms of price action. Like we can see even in January of 2025, we had a much larger crash, right? If I take the tool here, I can see here we had about a 31% crash, while if we're looking from this standpoint, it was about 18%. And I honestly just think it's just like a pullback. Like Bitcoin is obviously very, very bullish just because of the extreme amount of buying pressure, but we can see it really hasn't had like significant pullbacks. And I can see it was just buying and buying and buying to the top, so it's just normal that it would make a pullback. Now, Trump tweeted, and that's actually what caused this pullback, but again, everything's kind of planned. We actually had this marked up beforehand, which is really interesting, and it kind of just sold off here. I don't really trade Bitcoin too much. If you would be looking for a trade, I'd be looking for it to retest a bit deeper, then give us a shift, and then we could potentially buy this. I believe it's going to go back up to these areas. So yeah, that's in terms of Bitcoin if you're wondering. So that's the trade updates. I'm going to be holding this GBP USD trade, continue holding it. So top pair GBP USD. Then we're going to be looking at probably AUD USD for potential sells below this area. And yeah, maybe AUD CHF. This week's a bit tricky. There's a lot of volatility in the market from last week. So I'd be careful this week and just focus on the best setups.